We begin this hour of the program by talking about wine. Now, if you've been listening to this show, it's been now almost 2 months that every Monday at this time, we take a look at common goods and services and try and figure out how much you should be spending on them. Today, we're looking at that nice bottle of wine. Whether you're celebrating a special occasion or looking to unwind after a long week, how much should you be spending? Well, let's go to someone who really knows. Mandi Robertson on the line, the host of Unwined every Saturday at 11 right here on CJAD 800 and a certified sommelier. Mandi, welcome to the program.
Hey, Elias. Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
I'm so happy that you're on this program on Saturday mornings. I've been in my car driving and listening to you at 11. You do such a great job on your program.
Oh, thank you so much.
So let me ask you this, okay?
Yeah.
I want, not a bottle of wine. I want a good bottle of wine. Well, how much are you spending on it?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, but it's also kind of a tricky one to answer because when you buy a bottle of wine, it can depend on so many different things because it's such a personal experience. I mean, some people are happy with like a simple fruit-driven red that's $15, while others will find enjoyment in a $50 bottle. If you find value in the story behind the wines, where it comes from, who the winemaker is, that's really going to make a difference. But if we're talking about, in quote, enjoyable, and you're looking for a specific price bracket, in my opinion, I'm very confident that you can find some beautiful bottles anywhere between, I don't know, let's say 18, 30, 32 bottles. If we're talking like a specific number. This is when you really start seeing noticeable quality differences in your wine. So the flavors are going to be a little bit more complex. The fruit concentration is going to be more intense. You'll have a longer finish. You'll also maybe notice less bitterness in your wine, and the flavors are going to, last a little bit longer on the palate. But these wines are also, they might be aged in oak. They might have a second fermentation in the bottle if it's a sparkling wine versus those that don't. So, I've tasted wines that are $15 that are wonderful, and I've had $200 bottles that have left me really underwhelmed. So it really comes down to what you enjoy and what you value, and sometimes what the wine is made.
I have to ask you this: What do you do? What do you do? Mandi Robertson, sommelier and hosts a show on wine, for crying out loud. What do you do when you're having a 200 bottle of wine and it's no good? It sucks. I mean, sucks maybe is a hard way to put it, but you know what I mean? Like, what do you do?
Well, it depends on the context and situation. Usually I'll keep my mouth shut. You don't really say anything, right? I mean, maybe it's a gift, maybe it's a tasting. Yeah. But it's just, I don't, personally, I can taste it. Professionally, I wouldn't recommend it. But there's been times that's happened. And again, though, it all depends on your taste, on your personal preference. And everybody should trust their taste. That's something I always say, too. If you really enjoy a $50 bottle of Barolo, fantastic, but your budget is like $20, that's okay too. So it really depends on the situation.
So you're mentioning that price range, 18 to 32, how we can get a good bottle of wine in that price range. Now, how do you attack this, right? Because, I think for most of our listeners, getting a bottle of wine means going to the SAQ.
Yes.
So you go into the SAQ and there's aisle after aisle after aisle.
Yes.
How do you do the hunt? So to get that 18 to 32, how do you find it in those aisles?
Okay, so what you can do is kind of go by grape or country, or region, let's say. So if you break it down into reds, whites, and sparklings, I got a few places that maybe you can look for. For reds, I think some of the best value right now in the world is coming from Spain and Portugal and places like Rioja, Ribera del Duero. You've got beautiful Tempranillo and Garnacha with incredible depth and character that's under maybe $25. Portugal, you've been there, I think, recently. Some beautiful wines made there that are just flavor-packed and delicious and great value, so underrated. If you're looking for a white wine, maybe South Africa is a good place to go. They're really underrated in terms of their Chenin Blanc, beautiful texture and freshness. And sparkling wine, a lot of people want to celebrate with champagne, and it's great if you've got the budget for it, but try to find wines that are still from France, but they're called crémant, okay? So crémant de Bourgogne, crémant de Loire, Alsace. They are made in the exact same way as champagne, but without the price and the brand markup. So if you can plan ahead and kind of know your regions and know your grape, then you should be okay.
Okay, I have to ask about bubbles because I love bubbles. Yeah. I just love the sensation on the mouth, whether it's a Diet Coke or champagne. I love bubbles, okay? So I'm interested there, right? Because there are other countries, right? They make like Prosecco, right? And what's the other one that I'm thinking of? There's
Cava from Spain.
Cava, exactly. So would you go with the Crémant from France over those other options from other countries?
Well, for me, if it's my favorite bottle, I'm just like you. I love texture, so I love bubbles, and I really love freshness. So one of my favorite things to drink in the world is sparkling wine. If you're going to give me a bottle of champagne, I'll never say no. But personally, my budget, I can't do that, right? So I do go to Crémant. It's a favorite of mine. You can go to Cava. That's a beautiful place. Usually very, very affordable wines. But Crémant, for me, is my favorite. They've got so much variety because depending if you're in Burgundy or Loire, they use different grapes. So you've also got a ton of diversity there. They have Chardonnay, Chenin Blanc, Pinot Gris, just all these different beautiful wines. One of my personal favorites, if I can throw one out there as a recommendation, is a Crémant from France. This is Puez, from Patrick Puez. This winemaker, he's actually from Montreal, and he makes some really expensive but really beautiful, life-changing Chablis, but he started a new project making sparkling wine just a few kilometers outside of Champagne, but because it's not in Champagne, you can't call it Champagne, right? So, but he makes these beautiful sparkling wines, $29 at the SAQ, really affordable, and you'll enjoy it as much as you would a bottle of champagne.
Mandy, I want to throw one thing at you because one of the reasons why I stop myself from opening up a bottle of wine or getting a bottle of wine, me, my wife and Olivia and I, is because I don't think we want to drink a whole bottle of wine, okay, in one shot or one night. Like maybe split it over a couple of nights. How long can you keep a bottle of wine that you've opened and still enjoy it?
Well, if you're at my house, that doesn't happen, but that's okay. If you still have some leftover wine, there's definitely a way you can keep it. You can probably keep a bottle of wine, even if it's sparkling, 3 to 5 days after you've opened it, if you store it properly.
Yeah, what's that? Tell what's properly.
Yeah, well, the best thing you can do is buy a wine pump. It's super inexpensive. You just pump the air out of the bottle, store it in the fridge. Even the reds go in the fridge because by removing that oxygen, you're slowing down the oxidation process, and the cool temperatures also slows down those chemical changes. And if you don't take air out of the bottle, or if you just leave it on the counter, your wine's going to oxidize and it's going to go flat and it's going to taste yucky, right?
Yeah.
But even if you have a champagne, you can get a special closure. As long as you take the oxygen out of that bottle, store it in the fridge for, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 days, it can last a bottle of wine.
If I'm just putting saran wrap on the top, no bueno, huh?
Nope. No good
Gotcha.
there.
Okay, so I got to get one of those pumps. I really appreciate it. Okay, on the text line here, Mandy, let me just read you a note from a listener. I find Nebbiolo, does that make sense to you? Nebbiolo, to be the best money for value out there. And when you speak about Spain, you should include Bierzo. Bierzo, does that make sense to you?
Bierzo, yes, of course. So Bierzo is the part of Spain that that's a wine drinker, whoever's texting you. Beautiful region in Spain. They make gorgeous red wines, very high quality for the price. That's absolutely true. And what else did he say? The Nebbiolo?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Nebbiolo. They if you find a good bottle, that's great. They can be a little bit expensive, but Nebbiolos are meant to age, right? So that's another thing that we're talking about when we're talking about enjoyable wines. Nebbiolos tend to be very high acid and high tannin when you first buy them, and they've got to sit in the cellar for a little while. These wines are more expensive because most of the time, they're meant for cellaring, and you open them up maybe 5, 6, 7 years later. So I totally agree. Those are beautiful, beautiful wines, but when we talk about affordability, not a great example. But again, it depends on your budget and depends on what you like to drink.
Mandy, got to leave it there. I'll encourage all of our listeners to tune in to Unwined on Saturdays at 11 right here on CJAD. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.
The wonderful Mandi Robertson right there.